Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Artrice if you're new here, and today we're in front of my bookshelf, which means we're doing something book related. So let's get into it. Today I want to do a book review for Rebecca Roanhorse's book Black Sun. This is an adult high fantasy novel and it is amazing. I'm not even gonna leave you in suspense. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. This might have been my favorite book of 2020. I know, crazy, right? We are following 3 main individuals during this countdown that's happening to an eclipse and also the winter solstice. It's happening at the same time, which according to the sun priest is the unbalancing of the world, and there is something big that's supposed to happen during the winter solstice. The 3 main characters that we're following are Serapio, who is basically a young man whose mother turned him into a vessel for a crow god when he was really young. And then we have Shiala, who is a disgraced Teek who has certain powers over the water, and because of those powers she loves being on the ocean, and she's the captain of her own ship transporting Serapio to the holy city of Tova on this mission that he is on. Next we have Narampa, who is the sun priest, and she's dealing with all of the politics involved with the eclipse and the winter solstice and everything that goes on in the holy city of Tova right now, basically trying to unite all of her people together, and there's some betrayal and things happening. We do have a 4th point of view that comes in later towards the end of this book, and he kind of ties everything together. His name is Okoa. He's pretty high up in the Carrion Crow clan. I felt like the writing in this book was phenomenal. The descriptions and the details that went into each and every different setting that we're in were amazing. Like, you never forgot where you were because each point of view is in a different place. I thought that was really important. For Serapio and Shiala, they're mainly on the ship, but that does not mean that it's boring because there is a lot that goes on this ship. There's a lot of revelations that happen on this ship, and also the dynamic between Serapio and Shiala is amazing. Their relationship, their dynamic is just so fun, honestly, to read about, and we get to know them a little bit better, a lot bit better actually, while they're on the ship. So them being on the ship does not take away from anything at all. I loved every second of it. Narampa is mainly in the Sky Maid clans, which are in the sky. They're like temples in the air, literally. And it was a little hard for me to picture, obviously, because they're temples in the air, but I just kind of rolled with it and it was fine. And then we also have the Ma, which is the dry earth clanless group of people, and they basically just live on the ground in like huts and buildings, and it's like dank, and there's a lot of poor people there, and it's rough living there, etc., etc. But like I said, each place is very distinct and different, and it's not at all hard to follow where you are in the book. Also, with the storyline being in different perspectives, sometimes we have flashbacks and there are timestamps at the beginning of each chapter, so it's not hard to remember where you are or what time frame something is happening, because she makes sure that there is a timestamp in the beginning of each chapter, and also that we are still following a countdown as well to the eclipse and the winter solstice. Let's talk about the mythology in this a little bit. The Carrion Crow mythology in this was so fascinating. I loved every single second of it, and I want to know more. Like, it was just so intriguing. From Serapio's mother turning him into this vessel for this crow god, and him on a journey to the city of Tova to fulfill his destiny and his purpose. And then also the Carrion Crow people are kind of sort of divided. You have the cultists, so to speak, and then you have, you know, everybody else who don't necessarily believe in a crow god or anything like that. There are big, huge crow birds that they fly on. Like, it's just, I want to live in this world. This book is also very much so casually queer. Like, there is a lot of queerness sprinkled throughout this book, and it's very much so normalized, I would say. Nothing is thrown in your face at all. Nothing is blatantly obvious that she's trying to be queer inclusive. This is just Rebecca Roanhorse's world, and this is how it is in her world. Period. There are bisexual characters, lesbian characters, there's a transgender person in this book, there's a non-binary character in this book who is pretty prominent, I would say, in a couple of the point of view chapters. They go by Sheer and Shay, and it's written with like an X, so XE or XIR, and I thought that was so fascinating. It's never explained. It's never like, oh yeah, this person is non-binary. No, it's just like, this is just how it is, and we just all accept it, and it's fine, and I love it. I love it so much. The character descriptions as well in general are also very good. She did a great job, I would say, with the different ways that people dress and the different clans dress and the colors that they wear and how they have their hair. Also, Serapio's mother in the very beginning of this book, there's some body disfigurement, body mutilation that happens during this transformation of him being a vessel for a crow god, and that was very descriptive. This book, it's like chapter 1, so just like letting you know, this throws it at you. I feel like chapter 1 very much so sets the pace for the entirety of this book. It does not let up 1 second. It's very much so fast paced. There's a lot that goes on. It's intriguing, and you don't want to stop reading it. Like, you want to hurry up and get to the next person's chapter so that you can continue on where you left off. Overall, I really enjoyed reading this book. I think I read it in like a couple of days because I really wanted to draw it out. The ending of this book was very much so satisfying. It didn't necessarily leave me hanging like some series books do. It answered enough of my questions to where I wasn't upset that they didn't get answered, and I was more so just looking forward to finding those answers in the next book. Character development in this was amazing for each of the characters, but it still left room for more development in the following books in this series as well. It's great. It was a great time. It was a great read. I told my best friend about this book, and she bought it and she read it and she's obsessed with it, as she should be, as you should be when you pick it up and you read it, because I know you're gonna pick it up and read it, right? Yeah, I would recommend this book basically to anybody who loves fantasy, obviously, romance. If you love a queer read, I would definitely recommend that you pick this book up. I feel like even if you don't like fantasy books, even if you don't like romance books, because the romance in this book is not very prominent or in your face, it's just kind of a little slight thing that makes you smile and feel good on the inside a little bit. But I feel like this is a great read for anybody who's not super into fantasy, because while this does have some fantastical elements to it, obviously, it's very much so inspired by indigenous people and what they believe and the different tribes and everything. So I feel like if you don't know much about that and you're looking to start, I would say, not that any of the clans in this book are real. It's very much so inspired by, and it still is a fantasy. I would say this is a good book to pick up to start off. Even if you're starting off with fantasy, this is a good book to start off as well, because she does a very good job of explaining everything, so you're never confused when you're inside of this world. So there is trigger warnings for parental abuse, selling of children to pleasure houses, self-harm, blood, violence, gore, death, mourning of a loved one, body mutilation, and ableism from a parent. I believe there is some homophobia in this as well. I would suggest you look up the trigger warnings for yourself. Those are all that I could think of or find throughout this book, but there may be some more. Definitely recommend this book to everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this book review for Rebecca Roanhorse's book Black Sun, and I hope you look forward to me doing more book reviews in the future. Look out for that. And if you have any suggestions for books I should read and or review, leave them in the comments down below. If you like this video, please make sure to like it, leave me a comment. If you made it this far in the video, leave me the sun emoji, because why not? And until next time, peace and love.